Good day once again. My name is Graphics. So let's take this example on limit. Now when you have lim x tends to 0, you're having s plus 5 all square minus 25 all over x. There are two ways you can do it. Either you expand this s plus 5, right? Like you have let's say we have s plus 5 bracket s plus 5. Are we good? So when you multiply x times x, you'll be having x squared. Multiply x times 5, you'll be having what? 5x. Then 5 times x, you'll be having another 5x, right? Then 5 times 5, you'll be having what? 25. So in the long run, we'll be having s squared plus 25x, plus 10x, right? Plus what? 25. This is what we're having. So we can take this value that we've gotten here and what? Impute it into this point here. So we'll be having lim x tends to what? 0. Instead of writing this, I'm going to write this. So I'll be having s squared plus 10x plus 25 all over what? X. Then this is my minus 25 here. Are we good? The expansion of this is this. Now if you look at it very well, minus 25 cancel positive 25. Now we are left with what? Lim x tends to what? 0. We have x squared plus 10x all over x. Are we good? Now if you look at this here, we need to factorize this because we have x in both sides. So if I bring one x out, I'll be left with lim x tends to what? 0. We have x into bracket x plus 10, because s times x is x squared, s times 10 will give you 10x all over what? X. Are we good? So x will equate x, and we're left with lim x tends to what? 0. We have s plus 10. Now anywhere you see your x, you put 0, right? So we're left with what? 0 plus 10, and we'll give you what? 10. Is that okay? That is for that. But alternatively, we can easily say, since we have lim x tends to what? 0, we have x plus 5 all square minus what? 25 all over x. Now if you look at this, x plus 5 is one entity on its own and is raised power of 2. I can also write it as saying lim x tends to 0. We have s plus 5 all square minus what? 5 all square, everything all over what? X. Are we good? Now what do you notice? This my 5 also has square, which is giving 25. This is difference of 2 square. So what I will do is, and you know that when you have difference of 2 square, like if you have x squared plus 4, x squared minus 4, to give me x minus 2, like s plus 2, because this 4 here is saying 2 raised power 2. Are we good? So now what I'll do is, I'll have lim, or you can put that recall my a square minus s square will give me a minus x bracket a plus x. So that's how it is when you have difference of 2 square. Are we good? So that's what I'll do to these two values here. So my lim x tends to 0, I'll be having s plus 5. Are we good? Minus 5 into bracket x plus 5 plus 5. So I take one of this, I place it, and I add one of this. I did for the other part too. So everything all over x. Now in doing that, I can easily say my lim x tends to 0. Now we'll be having this now. If I open the brackets, I'll be having x plus 5 minus 5 bracket s plus 5 plus 5. So in a nutshell, everything all over what? X. So minus 5 will cancel positive 5. So we're left with lim s tends to 0. We're left with x into bracket s plus what? 10. Because this into bracket this 5 plus 5 will give you 10 all over x. This will equate this, right? So we're left with lim x tends to 0, and we'll be having x plus 10. So when you put in your value, your answer will become 0 plus 10, and we're having what? 10 to be our answer. Right? Thank you very much.